Hola, buenos días a todos. Muchas gracias por haberme venido a nuestra presentación. Soy Lindsey Simpson y vengo del vendedor SolarWinds MSP. Tengo las chuletitas porque vengo de Escocia y mi lengua materna no es castellano, entonces por favor, pues dentro de muy poquito voy a presentar a Matthias Merx, que le va a hablar sobre su negocio utilizando nuestra plataforma SolarWinds MSP RMM, que es Remote Monitoring and Management. Le va a hablar sobre un caso específico de entrante en nuestros servicios gestionados a través de la seguridad. Pero en primer lugar que quería dar un pequeño breve resumen de lo que es SolarWinds MSP. Que ofrece es una herramienta que ofrece los proveedores de servicios informáticos y da todas las herramientas necesarias e integradas en un solo panel para conservar sus clientes existentes. Tanto si quiere dar soporte técnico a más clientes con el personal que ya tiene dentro del mismo equipo técnico, o si quiere buscar formas para mejorar los beneficios. SolarWinds MSP Remote Management le ofrece un conjunto de herramientas que le permite proteger, mantener y mejorar los servicios informáticos de forma eficiente y también desde un único panel, que incluye entre ellos protección web, monitorización, mantenimiento de supervisión automatizados, copia de seguridad y recuperación, entre ellos. Entonces te paso ahora a Matthias, que le va a hablar sobre su empresa y en temas de seguridad y cómo está manejando con nuestra plataforma.
Yes.
En inglés, perdón.
Okay, I will try to speak very slowly, which is not... You still got the remote? Thank you. Okay, I'm working for a company with a really strange name. We already exist for 15 years, and our competitors in Syria don't exist for 15 years. But we were first, and like Donald Trump says, we go first, you know. My company is one of the largest MSPs in the Amsterdam area. We'll stand here. We started like 6-7 years ago with managed services, and we already have 3,500 servers and workstations we're controlling from one dashboard. I will show it later on. We're using SolarWinds, yes, let's say for 6-7 years. And we started with zero. And in 6-7 years, we raised our amount of servers and workstation to 3,500. And I'm gonna tell you how we did it. The first thing important for us, we don't have to go to the customer side or log into the customer servers to look for issues. The issues come to us. We have a dashboard, a wall chart, a TV, and that gives us 24 hours, 7 days, all the information. If there's a hard disk broke, if there is an antivirus issue, anything that happens, it's displayed on our TV at the office. We don't have our customers calling us, my hard disk broke. We call our customer to tell him, your hard disk broke. We already found Hewlett Packard and a new one will arrive tomorrow and we're gonna fix it. We reduce break fix, you know, we're familiar with break fix. Normally the customer calls you, if something is wrong, you go to the customer side and you fix it. We stay at the office in 75% of the cases. We don't go into traffic jams, etc. Amsterdam is just as horrible as Madrid. We don't go into traffic jams anymore. And we reduce time spent per customer, which is really important for your value. And the most important thing, we reduced operational costs. And how did we do it? 5 steps. The first step, I'm gonna explain every step. It's very simple. The first thing is, you need to drop a little piece of software on every server and workstation of your client, which is less than 20 MB. The second thing is, what we did, we started monitoring the customer's antivirus product. I'm gonna explain it later. We switch to managed antivirus. And this is a really difficult, important step. We are in control of 3,500 computers. We are in control of update and patch management. We decide when patches are installed, updated for servers and workstations. And the last step is prevent access to malicious sites, because ransomware is also a big issue in Spain. And it's gonna cost your customers a lot of time. And your customer calls you, we got a ransomware issue. And you don't have time maybe, but you have to go to the customer. So you have to drop other work, etc. So the first thing we do is deploy a small agent. I'm not gonna explain that. You can use a group policy, scripting, USB, whatever you want it. You go to the customer site one time and you drop a little piece of software. It's just one click and it installs. And then the piece of software make the customer's computer visible in a dashboard. That's it, step one. That's the hardest work because you have to go on site to do that. Step two. Does your customer use a antivirus, let's say brand A, brand orange? And the antivirus, maybe the clients report to the customer server and the server will get their updates and statuses from the internet. And or maybe another customer is using a different brand. Maybe this customer is using Capacity, maybe this one is using another brand, Symantec. Or maybe you have a customer without a server, have only workstations. How do you control the antivirus? How do you know if something happens on those PCs? Or even worse, you have a customer which uses different kind of antivirus products in one network. They buy a new PC, they get a box of Symantec or Panda and they just install it. And that's you. Because your customers want you, maybe once a week, to control it. Or you go on site once a month and you do local administration. And then you log on to the customer server and you check. And in the rest of the time in between, you have no information, maybe, about the customer's antivirus status. What you can do with SolarWinds MSP, you can monitor, let's say, 20 different antivirus products. You can monitor. Just 5 mouse clicks away. You just select the device in the dashboard. You say, okay, this device is using Symantec, or those 20 devices are using Symantec antivirus. You just select it, you just add the check, and then you start monitoring. It doesn't matter where the device is. As soon as you got an internet connection, it will upload its information about pattern file, about outbreaks, etc. to the dashboard. And you start monitoring. But monitoring is not enough. Report your customers. Be visible for your customers. Because the customers want you to come on site, because then you can see you're doing actually something. So you have to go into the traffic jam, go on site and show you're around. We hardly do that anymore in Amsterdam. We hardly go to the customers. No, we monitor everything remotely. But you have to report your customers and show what you're doing. Step 3. Now we're monitoring all customers' antivirus products, all different kind of antivirus, but I'm monitoring only. I can't control scheduled scans. I can't release items from the quarantine of any device. Maybe I want to change the scheduled scan. It runs at 11 a.m. in the morning and the customer is complaining. Can you change it to scan in the lunchtime? We do. We have to go on site to the customer side and maybe you have to change it. We don't. We use SolarWinds integrated antivirus. The engine is Bitdefender, but it's controlled completely from one dashboard. We see thousands of devices in our dashboard, and if I want to change anything about the antivirus, I can do it with a policy, I can do it with a few clicks, I can do it individual. We can create managed antivirus products per customer, per type of computer, per server, per workstation, per laptop, whatever you want. I select the devices in the dashboard. I enable managed antivirus, and now it's the nicest part. Current antivirus products are automatically removed. So if your customer is using the Microsoft integrated antivirus product, or he uses Panda antivirus and his license is expired, you can just enable from the RMM dashboard, say, enable the integrated managed antivirus, and the other products are removed. So you don't have to go on site to change the antivirus product anymore. And now we have switched from Panda, Kaspersky, and all the other brands to the integrated managed antivirus. I can control every aspect of the antivirus of the client. I don't need to install a big console on the client's server where all the clients hook in. I don't need it anymore. I have one dashboard. This is what I can do. This is a policy that will scan all the computers at 8 o'clock. And there are a lot of things I can change, I can adjust, and it's being spread to all the clients. And again, start monitoring and reporting. Show your customers what you are doing. This is a simple example. We have some outbreaks, some minor Trojans, and I will send my customer every month a report of what happened. And this is a really important step of security. You can have the best antivirus product in the world, but if you don't update the computers, it will fail. And how do you control the Windows updates on the clients? You put it locally, so you trust the user, they will not disable it, or they're maybe doing it manually. Or you got a WSUS server of Microsoft implementation. So if you want to monitor that, you have to log in to the customer service and check if everything is okay. We don't. We can distribute all Windows Update patches from one console, and we can change schedules per customer, per device, per site. And it's really easy because I have the agent installed on every computer, and now I log into the dashboard, I select the customer, I select the devices, I set up a schedule. The customer says, okay, my workstation every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, I want them patched, and my servers, please in the weekend, because when they need to reboot, we don't have any issues with that. So actually, we can remote control the computer's Microsoft Update function from one dashboard whenever we want. But that's not all. Microsoft Updates is not enough. You know Adobe Flash? Java, a lot of issues with that. A lot of security breaches. There are like 200 different vendors we can update from one dashboard. And again, report your customers. Show what you're doing. I've got a nice one here. I've got a device and it's missing Google Earth Pro update. Not really important. Oh, Adobe Air. That's really a bad one that's a nice one for hackers, by the way. And these are all the patches that are installed. Some Microsoft patches. I can report it per device on the customer. And the last step is prevent access to malicious sites. Ransomware. Customers are browsing the internet, users are browsing the internet. You just click, they have no knowledge about what is good or what is bad. And then you get a phone call again. We have an issue, we can't access our files anymore because they look strange, they look different. Yeah, they're encrypted. We have issues with that too. And it's again, from the central dashboard, I just create web protection policies. One customer don't want his end users to go on Facebook anymore. It costs him time. Another customer says, okay, Facebook is allowed only during lunch. We can set it up in a protection policy. We can make sure users do not access porn sites, etc. anymore. Again, I selected the devices in the dashboard and I enable web protection. That easy. There are two settings. I can monitor what the users are using on the internet. And I can print out a report and give it to my customer, and he will say, okay, that user is Facebooking a lot, too much. And I will tell him, okay, use Facebook less. Or I can set policies to block certain websites or all websites. Customers with all these 5 steps enabled are less vulnerable for ransomware, for attacks. The productivity will go up because I know some end users, they spend more time on Facebook than they are working. Especially when the manager is not at the office, they will. The web protection, no proxy servers or change your internet settings or Internet Explorer settings, it's not necessary. This is what we see at the office when we try to look up a gambling site, casino top 10. We can enhance this a little bit. We got a really bad picture, but we can enhance it with a nice picture. And next step, you're not finished yet. This was our first step. And with these 4 steps, we managed to get 2,000 clients in a really short time, let's say in 2 years. But because the most important thing is you need to get the customer's trust. The customer trusts you when you go on site and you send your best technician, and he goes on site every month and he will fix stuff and he will look on the computers and he will look on the server and he say, okay, everything is okay, I fixed this and this and this, and I will be back next month. And in the time in between, who's looking at the customer service? Nobody is. So you have to convince your customer that you're gonna look at his devices, maybe for the same amount of money, 8 hours a day, maybe 24/7 hours a day, 24 hours a day, you're monitoring. And he's better protected than your technician that will enter the site once a month. What's next? The next steps within SolarWinds RMM is enable online backup and disaster recovery. Hardware monitoring, I already explained. We can see if a ventilator in the server will break down or has broken. And the customer is not aware. Maybe it's a bit noisy in here, what happened? We call him, he say, okay, you have an issue. Do you want us to fix it? Scripting. SolarWinds MSP RMM. I can deliver any script through one dashboard on all devices. Think about you want to change on the client, think about the scripts you want to run. I can run it from the dashboard. And the nice thing is, if the script fails, it reports back to me that it has failed. Microsoft Windows scheduled tasks, they're familiar. A lot of servers have scheduled tasks, copy data every day from the server to a NAS drive, etc. Yep. But how do you check if the script fails? If the script fails, it's reported on our dashboard right away. So we can access the computer remotely and see what's wrong. Mobile device management. I'm not going to explain that, but it's integrated in the SolarWinds MSP remote management and monitoring. Remote access. We can support end users with one click. If an end user calls us, I have an issue, my Outlook won't start. We look up the device, I select the device and set take control. The end user will get a pop-up on the screen and he says allow access and we're on the computer. No TeamViewer installation or call and go to this website and install whatever a remote support tool. It's already there on the computer. And we can access it and the user has to give us, allow us to access. And there's much more. We're just here at the stand for SolarWinds and Optima, and if you have further more questions, please come and join us. Thank you.